Well, here we are.
Welcome back to Satterwhite Live. We've got a special guest this week and a super exciting topic.
That's right.
I'm Blake Linton, and this is Megan Thomas and Josh Thomas. And
No relation.
No relation. Megan is our drafts person.
Yeah.
Draftsman.
Drafts
person.
lady.
Yeah, drafts lady here at Satterwhite. And we're going to talk to you today about how to read a floor plan.
Yeah,
Josh?
it's something that most every customer that comes in the door has to deal with,
Right.
and a lot of times there's some confusion with that. So we figure, why not head it off at the pass with this wonderful designer that we've got.
That's right. Why don't you read our statement of beliefs, and then we'll dive right in.
Sounds good. At Satterwhite Log Homes, we're Christians. We're not ashamed of our faith. We kneel to God only and no man. We love America. We stand proudly for the pledge and for our national anthem. We're proud of our flag, our military, our first responders, and our law enforcement. We revere our founding fathers and the Constitution. We'll fight to the death for our families, for our country, and most of all for our God.
Good job, Josh. All right, Megan.
Okay.
Take it away. Okay, first off, why don't you just go ahead and just give us a high-level overview of, you get your 24 by 36 floor plan,
Quarter-inch scale.
quarter-inch scale.
Yes.
Just take us from there. What am I looking at?
So, speaking of quarter-inch scale, I guess we'll start off with the scale stick. So, a lot of people don't know how to use one. So, I wanted to show you real quick how to do that. Let me can go to the
Overhead view.
overhead view. Okay, I don't know if it's going to show up very well, but so what quarter inch means is that for every quarter of an inch,
Watch the screen, so that's what they're seeing.
for every quarter of an inch, that equals a foot on the floor plan. So whenever you've got your scale stick, whether it be this one or another architectural one that you get from the store, you find the quarter inch note. I know it's hard to see on here, but it says 1/4 inch. And what you do is you line up, there's a 0 right there, and let me find, so this is 6 feet from here to here. That's what that dimension shows. So what you want to do is line up the 0 that's right next to the quarter inch and go all the way through, and then you see where that other line of the dimension, it lines up with the 6 there. So that means it's 6 feet. And then if you wanted to, if it was a little bit longer than 6 feet, say it was 6'8", let me see. Well, so if it's 6'8", then you'd actually scoot it over a little bit. And these little bitty tiny lines, each one represents an inch. So that's how you do that.
People can see it a little better.
Okay. So that's how you use a scale stick. Short.
Yeah. All right. So that was great. Now, so let's start top left of the plan.
Okay.
And what are we looking at here?
Okay, so the top left of the plan, we're going to go back to that. Okay, so this is our electrical legend. So this is where you see the switch, and you see all the symbols, and then it also notates like what that symbol means. So then once you get to your floor plan.
Right. And so, what this is very beneficial for is after you have your second draft, you send the customer a floor plan without their electrical on there, correct?
Okay, so first we'll do a rough draft plan, and it will not include any of the electrical on it. And then I'll send that to you. You'll mark up any changes you want to make, and then you send it back to me. And then I'll create the preliminary, and on the preliminary, I will add the electrical to the plan and then send it to you again so that you can mark up the plan itself as well as the electrical changes.
And you would use your legend to do that, correct?
Yes, so you can look at the legend to see all the different symbols that are on the plan. So for instance, all these are recessed lights. You can see where all the switches are. These little dashed lines that you see going to the fixtures, that's just showing where the switch connects to the fan, connects to the other fan, and then goes back, and it's like a 3-way or 4-way switch. So it's actually turned on in 2 different locations.
All right.
Yeah, so even though, it's got a lot of detail, it looks like it's got a lot of symbols on there that you don't understand, all of those are going to be referenced in the legend.
Right.
So why don't you walk them through a little bit how to read the door sizes and the window sizes?
Okay.
Yeah, we get that question a lot about door sizes.
A lot. Okay, so for instance, this door shows, it's hard to see, I know, but it says 3068. That does not mean 30 by 68 inches. it means 3'0", 6'8".
So
And
that's
then,
3 foot 0 inches wide
right,
by 6 foot 8 inches tall.
right. It's always the width and then the height.
And that's explained in the legend. So
This little detail here.
yeah. So basically, any questions that you've got on the plan, if you refer to the legend, it's gonna go over most of those.
Right, right.
So why don't you explain to them about? So I guess it's kind of the same thing on window sizes.
Yeah, windows are exactly the same. So for instance, on this window, it actually says 2-2840. So that means it's a double because there's a 2 in the beginning. So it's a double 2'8" by 4'0" window.
I bet that answers, I bet a lot of people had that question.
Yeah.
We do get that question
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a little confusing. Like I said, if you don't know to look to the legend, you wouldn't know that. But that shows you. We also have some other details on there, some general notes as well as the square footage. If you just.
Well, I think the legend is probably the most overlooked thing on a floor plan by a customer. They don't realize that legend is there for a reason, and it can answer a lot of questions for you. So, and also right above the legend, it's going to have your square footages and stuff like Josh said, breakdown of the overall floor plan. So,
Yep.
Megan, what other common questions do you get about floor plans?
One of them that I do want to point out is on the second floor. If you look online at plans, a lot of times they'll show you an upstairs room and they'll say the room is 14 by 14. But what they're not showing is that this section here, so if this is built into a roof system, that means this roof, there's a little dashed line right here. That's where that roof is actually sloping down. So we actually label that this knee wall right here is 5'8" at the wall. And then you'll see this dashed line, and that's where your 8-foot flat ceiling actually starts. So all of this is an 8-foot ceiling, but this section is sloped. And it would all be sloped if there wasn't a dormer there.
Yeah, you want to kind of show them on a side elevation. Do we have? Yeah, there's a side elevation. Right
Okay.
here.
So on this elevation,
Kind of explains that.
yeah, you can't see. We've got a dash line on here that I know is not showing up on the screen. But there's a little dash line right here, and then it angles here, and then it goes flat across right there. So this is what is cutting that corner of that room off.
Yeah, if you imagined looking at this room from the end, that's what you're seeing here. So that. That's why you've got the, go back overhead, Danny. That's why you've got that sloped area that she's talking about, because you're literally, the ceilings in those rooms are being clipped by the roof pitch.
Exactly. So you got dormer 1 here, matches up with that dormer. Dormer 2 here, matches up with that. And then this section right here,
Slides right into
right
there.
there.
Yeah. And you see the clipped ceilings there. Yeah, that is something that comes up a lot. That's hard.
And there's a balance. Like for instance, if you want to make the bedroom wider, you can technically make it have more square footage, but on the floor. But as this wall goes further this way, it's going lower here, so you have less usable space because that wall ends up being so short that you can't put furniture against it.
Almost no headroom.
perfect.
So that's where dormers come in.
You want to, while we're on the elevations, you want to just briefly explain that to them? I mean, there's not a lot to, but it shows roof pitches and things of that nature.
Okay, so yeah, you'll see these little triangles here, and that'll say the pitch of the roof. So if it says 10, 12, that means for every 10 inches, it rises 12 inches, or every 10 feet, it rises 12 feet. And then you'll see on our shed porches, we typically go with like a 312 or a 412 pitch, so it's really low. We'll go with a steeper pitch whenever you want to put a space above there. If it's just a one-story house, it'll be more like a 7 or 812 pitch typically.
You want to just real quickly, 'cause some people might not even understand what elevation means, you know, because before I knew elevation was like, you know what I mean, instead of basically a side view of the house.
Front elevation. Yeah, an elevation is basically you standing on your feet looking at the house from the outside. So front elevation, that's the look of the front of the house.
And whenever we send you plans, we will do all 4 elevations. So you'll get the front, the rear, and both sides. So this one shows all of it.
When you say both sides, you mean left and right?
Left and right. That's correct. Not that other side that we typically leave out.
That's true. Well, man, that just simplified. Your job's pretty easy then. That's easy to read plans.
Super easy, yeah. Super easy to draw them.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate the work that you do for us. Josh, you have anything else you want to say?
No, we appreciate you coming in and explaining that to us. You know, like I said, sometimes we take for granted what we understand that others out there might not. So.
That's right. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Next week.
Maybe.
No. Don't promise.
Don't promise, dude.
Next week we're on location, getting our hands dirty.
Ooh.
Possibly going to show you how to put in a window. And
Possibly.
see what else we can do. So we're going to be on tour next week. So we're looking forward to that and hope you tune in.
Sounds good. Thanks again. Once again, subscribe and like our videos and hit us up with some ideas. We love ideas.
Absolutely. Megan, would you like to say anything?
Nope.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week.